Stop scrolling, because if you believe you're in control of your decisions, you're already easier to influence. That's not an insult, that's neuroscience. And today I'm going to make you uncomfortable on purpose, because comfort is where manipulation hides. Here's a claim that will trigger a lot of ethical marketers and good leaders. Most people who say, "I am not manipulative," are still manipulating, not intentionally, accidentally, because they don't understand how the brain actually decides. And if you're a founder, a coach, a sales leader, a manager, a creator, an executive, a business owner, if your job involves words, which you do every day, you are influencing decisions every day. So the only real question is, are you influencing with skill and ethics or with ignorance and collateral damage? Let's go straight into numbers. Number one, the average adult makes around 33,000 to 35,000 decisions per day. Read that again. 35,000. So if you are waiting for people to think it through like a rational robot, you are living in a fantasy. A brain making 33 to 35,000 decisions a day is not optimizing for truth. It's optimizing for energy, speed, safety. And that means your audience is not listening with a calm, neutral mind. They are listening while their brain is trying to survive the day. Number two, your brain takes in roughly 11 million bits of information per second. 11 million. Number three, conscious awareness can handle only around 40 to 50 bits per second. 40 to 50. So what you call my opinion or my decision is built on a mountain of invisible processing. Most of the work happens in the dark. And here's where the uncomfortable part starts. If most processing is invisible, then most influence is invisible too. That means you can be honest and still steer someone. You can be transparent and still corner someone. You can be good and still trigger fear, status, anxiety, and compliance. Now, number four. Researchers have argued that the speed of human thought, the bottleneck, can be around 10 bits per second. 10. So you've got 11 million bits coming in, and the conscious you is operating at roughly 10 bits per second. That's not a driver, that's a narrator, a storyteller. And the storyteller is always late. Number five, in some experiments, brain activity can predict a simple choice up to 11 seconds before a person reports being consciously aware of deciding. 11 seconds. So when someone says, "I decided logically," what they often mean is, "My brain decided and then I wrote a story that made me feel smart." Now let's make this personal. If you are listening to this and you feel defensive, good. That defensiveness is a decision process happening in real time. Your brain is protecting identity. It's protecting status. It's protecting the story, "I'm in control." And that story is exactly what makes people easy to influence. Because the easiest person to persuade is the person who believes they are immune. Now, number six. Average visual reaction time is about 250 milliseconds, a quarter of a second. Number seven, average auditory reaction time is around 170 milliseconds. So your nervous system reacts before your values show up, before your logic shows up, before your "I'm not manipulative" identity shows up. That means tone of voice, pauses, confidence, urgency, silence, facial expressions. They can move someone before they even know they have moved. And now the number that marketers love to abuse. Number 8. A widely cited neuromarketing estimate says up to 95% of purchase decision-making happens in the subconscious. Up to 95%. Even if you debate the exact percentage, the direction is undeniable. Conscious reasoning is not the main engine. It's the spokesperson. Now here's the borderline uncomfortable conclusion. If people are making tens of thousands of decisions per day, if most processing is invisible, if reaction happens in under the quarter of a second, if choices can be predicted seconds before awareness, then ethical persuasion is not about being less persuasive. It's about building constraints so you don't accidentally become a predator. Because yes, you can become a predator without meaning to. All it takes is pressure, targets, ego, and ignorance. That's why I'm going to say the thing most people won't say. Most marketing, persuasion today, is socially acceptable coercion. Not because it lies, because it rushes, it compresses time, it inflates your urgency, it weaponizes belonging, it uses status anxiety, it punishes hesitation, and it calls at help. So what does ethical influence, ethical persuasion look like? It looks like making the decision easier to understand, not harder to resist. It looks like clarity without panic. It looks like confidence without dominance. It looks like proof without humiliation. It looks like giving people room to breathe. Because when you remove breathing room, you remove autonomy. Now let's talk about the real business problem hiding underneath all of this. In a world where everyone is influencing everyone, the person who wins is not the loudest. It's the one who becomes unforgettable. And unforgettable is not charisma. It's not hype. It's not shouting. It's not manipulation. Unforgettable is a brain outcome. It's what happens when your message is processed easily, remembered easily, repeated easily, and trusted. That's the part most people miss. They chase persuasion, but the brain rewards familiarity and safety. So if you are forgettable, you will need pressure. If you are unforgettable, you will need less pressure. And that's the ethical advantage. Because the more forgettable you are, the more tempted you become to use urgency, fear, and dominance to force the movement. But when you know how the brain decides, you can design communication that makes people move without violating them. And here's a simple test. If you removed urgency, would your message still work? If you removed fear, would your offer still make sense? If you remove social proof, would the decision still be good for them? If you removed authority, would they still choose it? If the answer is no to any of those questions, you are not persuading. You are not ethically persuading. You are cornering. And cornering scales. It scales into toxic sales cultures. It scales into manipulative marketing. It scales into leaders who think pressure is leadership. Now, why am I telling you this? Because at Happy Brains, this is exactly what we do. We don't teach people to hack brains. We teach people to communicate with the brain so they become unforgettable without becoming unethical. And if you are thinking, everyone says that, you're right. Everyone says it. But most people can't explain the mechanics. They can't explain why 35,000 decisions a day changes everything. They can't explain why 40 to 50 bits per second means your audience cannot process complexity. They can't explain why a quarter-second reaction time means your tone is part of the persuasion. They can't explain why 11 seconds before awareness means framing is the decision. They just copy tactics. We build systems. Because if you want to be unforgettable, you don't need louder marketing. You need brain-aligned communication. You need ethical persuasion. You need to stop relying on pressure. And you need to start designing trust. If you want to learn how to do that, visit happy-brains.com.